Morning everyone, welcome back to the Wilts Berks Canal Trust YouTube channel. Lucky enough to have with me today Mr. Dave Maloney, Chair of the Melcham, Chippenham and Calm branch. Have I got that right this time, Dave?
You have.
Right this time.
You have.
We got it right.
Good job.
That's take 3, by the way, so we got it right that time. Catching up on the Carpenters Workshop today, which is behind us, as you can see, it's progressing really well. And we're also going to look at the bridge work that's going on up there as well. So we're going to come to that in a second. So we're going to move into the Carpenters Workshop now and take a look around there. So we're actually inside the Carpenters Workshop now, and some guys beavering away over there. Some of our volunteers. So Dave's going to tell us exactly what's going on. So over to you, Dave.
Smashing. Thanks, Andy. Those of you that saw the recent video of the Carpenters Workshop will realise straight away how much progress has been made since Andy and his dear wife have been away enjoying themselves in Europe, Smiley, while we've been working our backsides off here. As you can see, the rest of the framework is now up. The walls are now secure. Externally, the roofing felt is on, and the roof battens have been put on as well. You can still make out lots of modern construction techniques with inside the Carpenter's Workshop. When we finish the internal fit out, this will all be hidden, and you will literally, when you walk in, see what would have been the internal elements of a Carpenter's Workshop in the mid-1860s. You can see the volunteers this morning are consulting on the window frames. We did a bit of research. Obviously there was needed natural light back in the day because there wasn't any electric light, and using gas or oil lamps inside the Carpenter's Workshop was probably not a good idea. So we did a bit of research and decided to go for long, narrow window panes of glass within the frames, and you can see from the video that there are 3 large windows on the east side. Not that the carpenters would have been looking at the view, but you can see it's fairly pleasant. Of course, back in the day that was part of Pewsham Forest, so it would have been just woods anyway. So yeah, lots of progress done inside. Across the way you can see Malcolm doing his bit of saw work. That will be the annex area. We've already started to put in the insulation in the walls. When the interior is finished, this whole wall that you're looking at now will be clad, so you won't see those doorways. We're planning on strong magnetic catches to keep the door shut, and you'll need to ask a volunteer where to push it so the door will open, so that whole wall will just look literally like an internal wall. So that's our goal. And if Andy can point his camera down towards the floor a little bit, you can see how much work we've got to do inside to bring the floor level up to the door sill level. The floor in here will be a brick floor as it was back in the day. That's 3,200 bricks that volunteers will have to lay, as in when we get funding for the internal fit out, which our fundraisers are currently beavering away to raise relevant money. The internal elements where you can see the roofing felt, again, we want to hide that from visitors' views, so that will all be clad as well. So internally there's still quite a lot of cladding to do with timber to disguise all the modern building materials that we're currently using. It will look wonderful when it's finished, so make sure you pop down to see us back in the next year, hopefully.
So we've come up onto the scaffolding, and we're just going to take a look at the roof now and the slate. But Dave's going to tell us about that.
Yeah, thanks Andy. Basil and David and the rest of the team have been working extremely hard, as you can see, on getting the roof battened out. We've had a little bit of an experiment with the reclaimed Welsh slate that we bought. We could have used modern slate, but it's very expensive, but more importantly to us, it's 5mm thick, which is a bit too heavy really for the roof, and it's always good to use reclaimed stuff if we can. We bought this locally from a reclamation yard, and it came from a building that was about 1870, so we're not far off the original construction date of the original building. Of course, the roofers have got a challenge reusing the old holes and making sure that the battens fit, which is fine. The other roof the other side of the roof, sorry, will have solar panels on it. Now, I know some purists will be horrified that there's solar panels on an 1860s Carpenters Workshop, but to be fair, if the building still existed, we might well put solar panels on. You won't see them from the towing path. There's one public footpath that runs where you might get a view of the solar panels, but they're so in keeping with the tiles that we've got, you probably wouldn't even notice anyway. It's a vast amount of roof space. We let the Reclaim team know how many tiles we wanted, and we hope that's what they've supplied. We just don't have the energy or the strength to actually count every one of the tiles, so we'll see whether we're short at the end of the day.
Is that copper nails in there, Dave?
They are copper nails in there, Howard, Andrew, yeah. That's what Basil and his team recommended, so that's what we buy. No point in having all these skilled tradesmen on site if you don't listen to what they're telling you.
Exactly.
We saw this shot from the ground, but it's nice to get up a little bit close as well. We stole an idea from the Bell Inn at Laycock. That's a pub. There's only one of two pubs left on the whole canal line, the other one being the Peterborough Arms, which is owned by the Canal Trust. But Paul, the landlord at the Bell, during COVID, built himself a barn, and he used larch, as we're using here. But the nice thing about it is within 18 months to 2 years, it goes grey. So it'll look considerably older, in inverted commas, than it does at the minute. Although the larch looks nice, we really are trying to emulate an 1860s building, so the quicker it goes grey and looks old, the better for us really, and our visitors when they turn up on site to have a look what we're doing.
We've just come out from the Carpenters Workshop and we come up to the top lock, and we're just going to have a look at the top lock bridge that's under construction. So Dave's going to tell us all about that. Over to you, Dave.
Thank you, Andy. Well, you can see once again the volunteers are beavering away. Roger and his mini team have been dealing with the top lock bridge for a couple of months now. You can just see in front of you the nice crisp clean wall. Well, it wasn't such. Roger and his team had to take quite a lot of bricks from inside the lock chamber called the four walls to replace some of the bricks where the soft lime mortar was so bad it wasn't holding the bricks in at all. That was quite a lot of work for them. They're now building the walls up to the height of the bridge. You can see volunteers at the minute pouring the concrete in to form the foundations of the portal walls, and again you can see in front of us quite a lot of concrete block filled with concrete as well. These will all obviously be hidden once the construction's finished. It'll be a brick built bridge with a concrete floor. A little small road will lead off the bridge and swing round to go down the Carpenters Workshop, which is also going to be used as an educational unit, so heaven forbid we have a visit in there with a medical emergency, we'll be able to get a fully laden ambulance down to the workshop. So the bridge itself, that's all going to be brick built. Brian, our brick cleaner, bless him, has been cleaning thousands of salvage bricks, so those bricks from the early 1800s that were handmade, this bridge will be finished in them. The bulk of the construction will be engineering bricks, modern day techniques, but we'll hide those engineering bricks by using the salvage bricks that we have on site to disguise it basically, so it'll look beautiful when it's finished. It'll be a work of art, be a joy to see.
Beautiful, we like beautiful.
It will be, we like beautiful, yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks David for those updates. We're going to move down to the Naish Hill section now. We're going to look at the work that's been going on down there in the last couple of weeks. We've been working on this for the last couple of weeks now, so this is where we are. There's double bridge up there and you can see the excavator, and we're actually standing in the bed of the canal here. Dave's going to give us an update of what we've been doing. Carry on, Dave.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. This actually is one of the more disappointing areas of our line at Pewsham Locks. We cleared this section over 15 years ago and it was in water. The trouble with nature is you dare turn your back for a second, 16 years, and it takes over. And sadly, this is what happened on the Naish Hill section. We recently leased this whole section from Wiltshire County Council, and then realised just what a state we'd let it get to, which is unusual for us. We're pretty much on top of most things. There was lots of trees growing out the bed itself and on the bank, but too close to the bed. So the chainsaw boys and girls, myself, Andy and Howard, came down and did a lot of chainsaw work, and our fellow volunteers helped pull out all the bits of timber out the bank. And then Ray came along with his 7-ton excavator and carried out the specialist work. So I think it's best that we have a chat with Ray next, and he can explain how we use that wonderful piece of kit to save volunteers a great deal of hard labour.
And we're back in the canal bed, and Ray's going to give us an update on what he's been doing and the other volunteers have been doing here to clear this section out. So over to you, Ray.
Yeah, morning, Andy. Well, this section down here, unfortunately, we've just not had the manpower to keep it controlled by the growth of the vegetation, etc., etc. And we thought that whilst the canal bed is dry, which as you can see, we can actually drive along it, it would be an ideal time to remove the willow trees that are growing in the bed of the canal. Now, we had looked at doing it in two ways, but either using the excavator or turfing them out sort of with a turfer. Now, we've been so lucky that the large excavator has pulled all the roots out. Otherwise, I think we'd have been here probably another 2 weeks sort of thing. So we've had 7 days solid work on this section now. And within a month or two, this will have water in what we're stood in at the moment. What we've actually done, the trees were lopped down to a certain height, and the root ball was actually taken out with the excavator and passed over the far side. It's hoping that they will re-root, and so we'll have a grow of trees on the far bank again. So that's a good thing. Perhaps next year we may be able to do a bit more on it and remove some of this vegetation in the canal. But before that, I think we need to do some vegetation trimming on the far bank as well, whilst we can go along it, and it's so dry. I got to say a big thank you to Malcolm Robinson, which is the farmer, which has made life much easier for us, because unfortunately with the large excavator, we cannot get it all the way down here because of the width of it. So with Malcolm Robinson's help, he's allowed us to go into his fields, and we've bypassed the narrow section of the towpath. So without his help, we wouldn't have been able to do what we've done. So that's a big thank you to him. So yeah, I think people's going to be impressed with what we've done. It's up to us now to try and keep on top of it.
I'm going to pop the drone up in a minute and do a bit of a flyover so you can actually see a little bit more detail of what we've done. So stay tuned.
Hang on, clapper. Take 3.
Yeah, take 3, right through.